Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Dear viewers, every day, everywhere in the world, we have a new episode today, and it is about something that's related to what we have studied, but it is, in a way, it's new. It is about high expectations. High expectations. I'll begin with a small story to see what I mean by that. One time I met a group of parents, and one of them, or most of them, said that we are pleased to enroll our kids in this school. And I said, why? Because they said that the first student on the national level of the country here is graduated from this school. And we are pleased to have our students in it. Okay, I said that is this the best scenario, that this is why you are happy that your kids are here? They said, yes, we're happy. Okay, I told them, okay, let's think of this scenario. Which is better, scenario A or scenario B? Scenario A, you have a school where, like this school that you are describing, the first student in the country is from this school, and the rest of students, their average grade is acceptable. This is scenario A. And scenario B is most of the students are good, and no one in the school, right, is the first student in this country. This is scenario B. So I asked them, which one is better for you? In the beginning, they were saying A, and now they're saying B. It's B, of course. I said, that's why we are here. We are making this program to make students fall into this category. What we care is, we care about the majority of the students in the school. We don't care whether the school graduates the first or the high top 10 students, and the rest of the students are low. So I understood from the discussion, or you can understand. What did you understand from this discussion?
What I understood is, don't pick one student and rely that this student came from this school, so that means the whole school is working on that path.
Okay,
Like, just don't pick one example.
okay. What did you understand?
From the example was that school A was only focusing on getting results for the top 10. That was their aim, and not a collective growth of all of the students.
Okay,
And school B was more concerned about all of the students and all of them get a good level of education.
okay. I thought that my question was easier than this. Okay, what did you understand? The same thing? I didn't understand that, by the way. Okay, what did you understand?
I feel that the group A, which passed out, was in that year. And presently, what is happening in the section B has to be seen. I feel the group B is also being updated with what is happening, and that is why their results are good.
Okay, now I think my understanding is different. My understanding is the first sentence that I said today. It's about expectation. I think that the parents had very low expectation. The parents had very low expectation. I expect parents, right, would say that we need all the students to graduate on that level. It's not just 1 or 2 and 10. So this is the theme of today. High expectations. Most of us are pleased with the minimum. And this does not help us to raise the standards and the expectations of the students. I remember there are hundreds and thousands of examples in Islamic history. One of the companions, he reached in Africa, the last part in the west north part of it, in Morocco. And he stood and he found a sea in front of him. And he made his famous statement saying that, Wallahi, if I know that there is a land beyond you, I would have crossed you. And by the way, as you know, that the Arabs don't know how to swim. Yeah, so he swore by Allah that he will cross it, although he doesn't know how to swim, which means that he may be as if he's committing suicide. But his ambitions and his expectations, he wants to go there. There is a sea. He doesn't see a land, but he said that I would have crossed you if I know if there is a land there. Expectation is very high. He's not pleased and satisfied with what he achieved. Bringing Islam until Africa is not enough for him. He wants to go there to see what's happening there. They are human beings. It's my job to take Islam to them. And that's why Islam came to India and came to other countries. Because the companions at that time, they were very ambitious. Their expectations were high. This is exactly one of the jobs that we need to do in the school, is to raise the level of expectation in everything. I will tell you some schools how they do it. In a previous episode, I talked about how do you know that your students are progressing? How do you know that your students in classroom are progressing? Can I get an answer? Are your students progressing? You say, yes. How do you know that they are progressing? Yes?
Based on the grades that which he's achieving now?
The grade. Can you give me, what are the data that I look at and I know that they are progressing? You're just sleeping. All my students are progressing because I've seen them in my dream. They are progressing. How would you prove to me that your students are improving, are progressing? Yes?
Having an evaluation book, which is with me.
Okay, I evaluate them and here's the data. I have seen 90%, 95%. Okay, where can I see that they are progressing? In the previous exam, they were having perhaps less results. So by comparing, okay, that's okay. Are they really progressing when you see this data? From your perspective, yes. But if you move and you get into another class here and you see the difference between these grades here and the difference between your grades is high. Students here were getting 80 and most of them now are getting 90. Students in your class were 70 and they are getting 73. So who is progressing more? Who is progressing more? This class, class A or class B? Class B. No? 80, from 80 to 95, and here is 70 to 73. Which one is progressing more?
Class B.
Class B. Why? If it is the same test, we can say that this class, class B, is progressing, yes, more than class A. If it is not the same test, there's no way for you, because you are the one who made the exam, and the exam, you will be biased to your students, and you put the exam in a certain way, and they got it like that. Okay? So how can we solve this problem? How can we solve this problem? Now you cannot. When you see the grades, you think that the students are improving, and in fact, they are not. We need to get solid things to know that they are progressing. Let's begin from the beginning. First, we would have the same test, okay? Right, the same test, not for one class, for more than one class, in order to see the difference. This is one step, which is good, but there is much better than this. The same test is for the whole school. Oh, there is something better than this, which is, help me, the same test is for the schools in the area, other schools. So now I can see, yes, if you have 20 schools getting the same test, and I get the average of these 20 schools, and I get the average of my students, and I can see that the average of my students is higher than the average of the nation, or 20 schools or lower. If the exam, you need to compare yourself with others using the same criteria. And the same criteria here is the same exam. Am I clear? If you don't compare yourself with others, you don't know exactly whether your students are progressing or not. I will talk about personal experience for me, but after we come back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hush, little baby, breathing so calm.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. I hope you already got your tea. My personal experience is, when I walk in the street in the morning, I think that I'm an athletic. Yes, I walk and no one is better than me. But when I walk beside my son, I know that I am very bad, right? Because he's doing a better job than I. So comparing, you cannot decide, you cannot judge something by itself. You have to put it beside other things in order to know. So now We said that the first rule is comparing. By the way, what I'm talking now can change whole schools. Because you go to a school and the principal would show you that our students are progressing. Look, this is great. And he doesn't show you the grade of other schools. You go and ask him, okay, what is the average in Mumbai? What's the average in India? What's the average in Southeast Asia? What is the world average or the international average? Now, when you get the international average, you know exactly where your students are. You can be very proud of yourself, say that the average of students in my class is better than the international average. This is the best way you can measure yourself against. And that's why we encourage our students to take international exams. IGCSE, for example, is one of them. There are many other exams like this. You cannot judge your students unless you compare them with others. At least you can say that in comparison with the 20 schools around us who take the same exam, right? Our students are better or not better. So one way of knowing that our students progressing, that is when you compare your results based on the same criteria with other schools. Is this clear? Okay, the other way is by expectations or standards. Standards. If you don't have these things, you have standards. You know that when you go to a doctor, there is a meter, and every time you go, he measures you. So he would show that whether you are increasing or decreasing, right? Don't laugh, old people decrease, by the way. وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ. The older you get, the more bending you get. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. So anyway, so he measures you against what? Against something. And this is exactly what is meant by standards or expectations. You put standards. These can be international standards or your own standards or your own expectation. I expect students, when they graduate from primary, they would be able to do this, 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 this. Or when they finish grade 3, they would be able to do this, 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 this in every subject matter. So when you see your students are doing this even far better than what they're supposed to do, you know that they are progressing. The trick here, when you yourself put these expectations, because you may put low expectations so any student can reach it, and you think that they are progressing. And that's why you said that high expectations. We need to raise the bar. This is the statement. Some people use the standard that had been used for the last 20 years. No, things change every year, right? The record number changes. So that's why you need to raise the bar, and to see whether your students are progressing or not. In other words, you should have high expectations. One school I went to them and they said that we teach during the whole year in grade 1, we teach them 5 surahs. I said that I can teach them 30 surahs at least. You see what I'm saying? So because they put low expectation, they are happy. So we have to raise our expectations. Don't be pleased with whatever you have. You have to go there. It's with whatever Allah gave you, that's fine. But with your students, no. You have all the time to encourage them to go up and up. So that's what I mean by high expectations. So we need to have high expectations in our subject. One of my expectations from this, I expect some of you, inshallah, next week would go and make some training. Next week. Can anybody of you think that he can do similar thing to what I'm doing next week? 1, 2, ambitious. 3, 4, 5. I want all of you to do this. This is my ambition. All of you, inshallah, you can make training. It's not necessary to be on the same quality. Yeah, 70% is acceptable in the first week. Next month can be 80%, inshallah. But I expect you after the amount, and that's why it takes me a long time to cover each topic. I can cover it in 5 minutes and I move to another topic. And you can go home, take rest. And I take rest as well. But I want you exactly to have what I have. And until you go home or until you go to school, you will lose 10%, but still you will retain at least 90%. Good. Is this clear? So high expectation in your subject, high expectation in the whole school. This should be the common language in any school, at least in an Islamic school. We talk about expectations. We talk about standards. We talk about our students this year did not achieve what they had achieved last year. This would be bothering us from the principal to the janitor. There is something wrong going on. We have to do something to raise the standard, to raise the level of our students. This high expectation. So I hope, inshallah, you would not be pleased with what you have. If you have your standards, try to compare them with what is on the internet. What are the standards in UK? What are the standards in Japan? What are the standards in Finland? And at that time, you will know where you are. Of course, again, when you compare yourself, you don't compare yourself with something on your level. Compare yourself with something who is better than you. Some people would compare themselves, oh, alhamdulillah, we are better than 100 schools in Shanghai. So we are better. Yeah. No, this is not the way to. Compare yourself with schools in Mecca or Medina. Compare yourselves with schools in Malaysia. Compare yourself with some international, right? Or regional, or at least national. Is this clear? Okay, any question, any comment? We don't like what you say, Mamdooh. Now, this is not working. Yes?
One thing I felt was that the high expectations can also have some negative consequences,
Such as?
like pressurizing the students, the management, as well as the parents.
Okay.
And the other was that it may lead to dejection sometimes. If I have high expectations and I don't fulfill them, then it leads to dejection.
Those people work 15 hours every day. And we are used to work at maximum 7 hours now. And perhaps from these 7 hours, something much, much, much less. So when we go back and tell the people in our countries, yes, you should work hard as the Indians who are working 15 hours, they laugh at us, right? So should we raise people to higher level, or we should take them? The average number of hours that an Egyptian works in Egypt, Hosni Mubarak will not be unhappy from this. He's no longer in power. 20 minutes. 20 minutes per day. The average government employee number of minutes he works per day. Should I repeat it? So do you want me to compare you with them? Do you want to go to their level? Or should we raise them to your level? If some human beings are doing it and they are fine, they are normal human beings, they are good human beings, so that means other human beings can do them, right? So why should we look at the negative aspect of it? I don't think that there's a negative aspect. But we cannot take them from here, from 20 minutes to 15 hours in a month. It will take them years to reach there. But is it possible that they can do the same thing as the Indians do? Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible, as you have done it. And I think that you are human beings created from Adam and Eve like us. So why not? You see what I'm saying? I don't think that it has. I know that in some countries there is a lot of pressure on students, but this is not what I'm asking you. For example, in Japan, that's why the highest percentage of young people killing themselves, committing suicide, is in Japan. And the students do it voluntarily. Nobody pushes them. But the pressure of the society on them, if they fail an exam, they kill themselves, which I think it's the biggest crime in the world. Yes, do you have any comment? Please go ahead.
I would like to comment that though there would be under pressure or the students would be under pressure, but the end result would definitely be far better than what is happening. So if I think about the higher goal, so there is success definitely.
Yeah, some people could memorize the Quran, so other people can memorize the Quran. So I'm trying to encourage my students. Now they are memorizing 5 chapters, right? After a week, I expect them to memorize 7 or 8 chapters, and so on and so forth. So by encouraging them and by doing the professional part, I think they can reach there. Is this clear? Any other comment before we come back? Yes?
I think differentiation also plays a part here. Differentiation.
Wonderful. Differentiation now is an act. I was about to ask this. Does it relate with other things that we learned? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Here is differentiation when you address those people in the top. They are closer to reach there than others. Right, very good. So now they relate to each other. Does this issue relate to other things that we have studied, the 7 items that we studied? Does it relate to any other thing? High expectation? Do you think it relates to distributive focus in a way? When a teacher focuses only on knowledge, right? Versus focusing on 3 things, skills and concepts and knowledge. Does this relate to high expectation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it does. So it does. I'm quite sure that when you analyze each one of them, you will try to find any relationship between them. Yes. Good? Yes,
I have another comment.
Again, this is what I like. I was talking, somebody else, then he came back. This is exactly what should happen in the classroom. It's not necessarily to move all the time to other people. Yes. This is the thing that will enrich his way of thinking. He gives me an idea, I accept it or I reject it, I say my opinion, then he refines his idea. This is how thinking grows. Okay, good.
It also relates to different techniques of teaching, variety in the teaching methods.
Excellent.
Because if you use the same methods that you were using and you raise the bar, you're not going to achieve the level. But if you change your teaching methods, I think you'll achieve what
High
you have.
expectation is much related to using a wide variety of teaching methods. It relates very well, because if you want to reach there, you need to have the tools. One of the tools is that you have trained, skillful teachers to do the job. Teachers who use different, very good. What else? Yes?
It is also related to a balance between the questioning in the class.
Wonderful.
Because if my expectations are high, I pose high ability questions.
Excellent. You have high expectations, and all the questions that you ask in the classrooms are when, is, did. This doesn't take the students there. This will keep them here, or even they go down. So it relates very well with the question strategy that you have. Inshallah, in another episode, we can continue. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Little baby, pure and small, he created you, he created us all. Hush, little baby, don't you fear, we're never alone when Allah's so near. Hush, little baby, breathing so calm, he'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene, you are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby,